Hi, my name is Stephanie Reinhardt, and I'm a children's librarian at the Auburn branch of the Bay County Library. I was asked to make a short video, shortish, about the resources that we have available that can be helpful to educators during this time. Things like research databases that are at the level for your kids to be comfortable using and to be able to read. Simultaneous use ebooks, which means that all of your students could potentially be reading the same book. There is a collection of those. And then our other databases that include checking things out, movies, music, TV, ebooks, and of course, or audiobooks, and of course, ebooks. So all of those are available among many, many other things. The most that anyone will need to access those pieces is a Bay County Library System card, or for many of them, it's just being in the state of Michigan. The databases provided through the Michigan eLibrary are available to anyone in the state. So real quick, I am going to share my screen and we'll do a quick walkthrough of some of those. All right. So our first stop is the Bay County Library System homepage. There is a lot of great information here, and if you have never taken a look at it, I suggest that you kind of give yourself a few minutes and click through it, see what's available. We're going to be focusing today on some of the database information, most of which are available on these blue circles right here. A couple exceptions to that are going to be in this digital collections menu. Creative Bug is a craft and art database that gives you different ideas for projects. RB Digital is our magazines database, so it lets you check out almost any magazine that I can think of. I'm sure there are exceptions. But there's both children and adult magazines, so kids can have access to those magazines. And then Tumblebooks, if you work with younger children, it has ebooks that some of which can be read to the child, which is a really great tool to have. But today, I want to tell you just a quick overview of some of the ones you may already use that you may not know a lot about, or ones you may not have heard of before. So the first one is Overdrive. It acts a lot like a digital library. The library spends money, buys copies of the licenses of the book, and then people can check them out. You can see that we only have so many licenses. That's why some of them say borrow. And if you have not read Class Act or its predecessor New Kid, you should. But you could borrow that because it's available right now, whereas the Cold Millions is checked out, so I could place a hold, just like a physical library book. When you get to this home page, it will just show you the newest things. So you can see it's both adult and children's stuff. There are collections that you can browse that have been put together by the staff members. And there are all sorts of collections down here that you could get to. But so some of you are working with older children, some of you are with teenagers, and some of you are working with younger children. This doesn't narrow it down to any of those particular things. So if I can search for a title here. I will use, let's see, the Percy Jackson series. That's one of my favorite. And you can see when I start typing that a whole bunch of things come up. One, it lets me look at the different series. So Percy Jackson actually is in several different series. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the graphic novels, and the crossovers. So I could click on any of those and it would show me all of the books in that series if we own them. Otherwise, it's going to give us the titles down here, and we can click on any of those to go directly to the record page. I'm going to click on Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and like I said, it gives me all of the titles that we own. It's giving me both ebooks and audiobooks, and I can place holds, add to my wish list, see about how long it will take. All of that stuff is available there. For teachers who are interested in maybe things like Lexile measures, you can narrow it down there, or if you click into a particular book, it will give you that information over here on the right-hand side. If your school does use those as a guide. You can read a sample if you are inside the book page, so you can click on that, and it will take a minute to load, and it will let you read just a little bit of the book without having to check it out, which is really nice. You can also go to subjects and browse by subjects. So Let's say I know that I want to read about, juvenile fiction, and I can pick a subject in here, or juvenile nonfiction. So let's say I want to look at a book about careers in juvenile nonfiction. It's going to give me some of the ones that we have there. So you can click through and see all those things. Young adult fiction and nonfiction is below that. So they've broken all of them down to help you. Now, I'm going to go back up to juvenile fiction because it has a little bit larger of a collection. So let's say I want to look at just juvenile fiction, so chapter books, graphic novels. You can click ones that are available now. It will take out everything that is checked out, so you won't have to sort through and see things like that. So sometimes when you're just browsing for something to read now, that's wonderful. You can recommend something to the library if you think that we should own it. Just by clicking that button, it'll send our digital collections librarians a note. You can also, you can say when was it added in case you're a very frequent user, things like that. What I like is that you can limit it to what sort of audiobook or ebook that you want. So I usually read through my Kindle app, so I can just click ebooks that are available on the Kindle app right now, and you can see that those 3 filters have stacked up here, and now everything that I'm going to see fits in this category and is available for Kindle and is available right now. So that makes it really nice to browse without having a physical shelf to look at. These books, like I said, are like a physical collection. There are only so many licenses per book, which means that not all of your children or students can check them out at the same time. To hop back to BCLS's homepage, right next to Overdrive. Oh, one last note on Overdrive. Hoopla, or Overdrive and Libby are the same company. They are just 2 different ways of accessing that information on a device. So if you download the Libby app, which is a little bit cleaner and a more modern interface, you'll have access to everything that Overdrive has. And you'll be able to read in the app, whereas Overdrive actually, I believe, always sends you out of the app. Hoopla operates a little differently. It has a lot of things. Let's go. Mine's probably good. Yeah, log in. So this requires a login that you attach your library card to. But Hoopla operates a lot more like a bookstore. So the same things are always available in Hoopla. You can check any of them out anytime. So all of your kids could get the same book from Hoopla, but they only get 10 checkouts per month. So if you need it for a 6-week period, and 2 of those, and you start at the beginning of the month, 2 of those checkouts will have to go to that one book because you'll have to renew after the first 3 weeks. So just so you could think of it that way, so you don't necessarily turn your kids loose on Hoopla because they do only get 10 checkouts per month on whatever library card they're using. But what's really great about Hoopla is that you can either search just like I did. So let's see if Percy Jackson is on this one. And it's going to go like this. And it is. There are different books here that are always available. In fact, this ebook here is the first 3 books in that Percy Jackson series. So all of your kids could read the Percy Jackson series at the same time, as long as they click borrow and don't use up the rest of their checkouts in the month. So you can always search for things. There are ways to narrow it down over here. Let's say that I just want to listen to Percy Jackson. We'll see what's available. Looks like apparently it's only available in German, so not necessarily what I'm looking for. So I'd have to go for the Percy Jackson audiobook in Overdrive. You can limit it to children's titles only, so that will take out any potential conflicting books if you're searching a more generic term. You can also browse. So if I wanted to browse ebooks, it's going to give me some of the things that it thinks I will like right up front, popular items. And then again, I can limit that to children's only, and you'll take out all the adult books, making it a little easier for kids to find things they're looking for. There's a recommended tab based on what I've checked out in the past. And then, oops, wrong one. Categories is the one I want. It's a lot like the subjects in Overdrive in that these are collections that have been put together and organized for your ease of use. So I want to maybe look at Juvenile Nonfiction, which is a collection here. There's quite a few collections So feel free to look through them. And so these would be things I could click down to narrow it down even further if I wanted to, but it's going to show me some of the nonfiction. These include Bob books for the very, very earliest readers through Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Halloween things. There's all sorts of things that are available here. And because I'm in juvenile, it's not showing young adult. They do have a number of young adult materials as well. If you wanted to check something out, you would just click borrow, and then you'd have the ability to download it if you're in the app, or to read it right away if you are on a computer. Again, your students can all check out the same book at the same time. If you have a Chromecast, I do at my house, it can cast directly from Hoopla to your larger screens. And that way, if you have a movie or something, it can cast directly to your Chromecast or smart TV, which is a cool feature for a library database. But anyway, so that is a quick overview of Hoopla. I'm gonna get a few more databases in, if you don't mind. By clicking the databases page and back on the library homepage, it will give you a variety of things here. There are academic databases, all sorts of things like that. The one I wanted to highlight, I believe it's on page 2. Yeah, the one I wanted to highlight is the Ebsco ebook K-8 collection. You would click view outside the library, because you will be outside the library generally when you're doing this, and it will just check that you're in Michigan. And this is another ebook database, but what is remarkable about this database is that everything is available for simultaneous use, and you do not have to have a library card. So I love Panda Cubs, and they have chosen to feature that for me, so I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to click into it, and it will give you a very boring looking database page. It will give you what is the library record, that kind of thing. But then if you click onto the different sections, it will open the book itself for you. And I can click through using these buttons at the bottom in order to get to an actual page. As you can see, this is an early reader because it's got very few words on the page. You can adjust the view and make it full screen. You can zoom out because obviously these two pages are meant to be viewed side by side rather than one on top of each other. So sometimes it's nice to be able to see both. And then you can read that way. You'll see that there is a download tab next to all of these different things. You can download 100 pages. Well, no early reader book is 100 pages. So you could download really the whole thing, but this is just going to be one chapter, and that will let you download it and read it offline. You can also email things or check them in a dictionary, send a permalink if you want to send it out to your students as a link, add it to your Google Classroom or a Google Drive folder that they might be using. This does go up through 8th grade. So if I wanted to focus just on older materials, I could advanced search and do that. You can search all, like when it was added, what language it's in, what subject. I am going to just real quick show you some books on education. Some of these will be for teachers as well. So as you can see, because I clicked on education, the mathematics education of elementary school teachers is in here. That's not necessarily going to be something for your kids, but it is a book you have available to you. Children's and young adult nonfiction. We have all sorts of things here about football, etc. Famous people. And then in fiction, I'm just trying to show off. We've got some middle grade books. There are some YA books in here, fewer of them because that does push into high school. But all of these can be downloaded, looked at as a PDF, any of those kinds of things. And everyone in your class can do it, even those without a library card. So that makes this a super useful database. I hope that is going to be the 3 big databases that I cover today, which is Overdrive, Hoopla, and Ebsco eBooks. There are also databases. Britannica has an updated database. I have posted a middle school version of that video on the Bay County Library System Children's YouTube page. And so you can check that out there. There's World Book. There are a number of other things. Britannica is my personal favorite, but I know everyone has different preferences for how they like to do research. The Library of Michigan also provides Pebble Go, which is a young children's database. So for as young as can use a computer and follow pictures through about first or second grade. It's going to read aloud things to them and be very picture-based, so it will still allow them to research, but without the necessity of reading. So those are all available either through mel.org or through baycountylibrary.org. If you do have any questions, please contact me. Again, my name is Stephanie Reinhardt. I'm the children's librarian at the Auburn branch of the Bay County Library, and I hope this was useful. Thank you.